You're going to see in a minute our Next Milk campaign, which was for the next generation of milk drinkers. So if many of you may not know, Danone owns Silk plant-based milks, number one in the category, and we're really recruiting a new age of consumers with a different mindset, I think, than their milk predecessors or their milk parents, as you will see. And so we launched a really cool Next Milk mustache campaign that was really fully integrated out of home, great shopper, online video streaming, display, and a lot of social with these influencers. And so these are the kids of some of the people in some famous iconic other milk ads that we've used. People titled it Nepo Babies, but what was cool was how integrated it was through the whole line. Yeah.
I think they are maybe queuing it up without the audio.
Yeah, we'll just do video with no audio. We'll do audio with no video, and then video with no audio. But yeah,
it's fully integrated.
And then we'll make a TikTok dance, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But yeah, maybe you can see some of the imagery up there. But yeah, that was a campaign we just launched, and that's something I was proud about, how we brought it through the line. At Danone, we talk about screen to shelf, so really just having consistency, from display, from video, from TV, all the way down to purchase. So I think this did that really well.
I think a follow-up is how do you think about the different mediums and different approaches when you think about creating these integrated marketing campaigns? Because certain mediums tend to fit together better than others.
Yeah, I always start a creative, so I start with just the idea, right? I think a great idea can live anywhere, anyhow. And then I think it's about how do you tailor that message, or how do you land on it? How do you maybe personalize it? I think that's something really great with, we talk about retargeting, other assets like that, where we can hit you with a message, we can know more about you as a consumer, maybe your lifestyle, what you're into, and maybe personalize that message. But trying to keep a lot of consistency visually and through the copy, because repetition is key. And I think it's, to me, it's like social media is like the glue that can hold them all together, right? So you could have online video, display, social events, but that social component can kind of make them all work together all the time.
Connective tissue.
Exactly, that's the glue, I think. Yeah, to get people involved into it.
Sure. You want to talk about the first campaign that we just heard the music background?
That was the next Milk campaign.
No, like the first one, the stove.
Oh, the stove. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are they gonna play it? Well, yeah. We just another campaign we just launched was that's fine.
Sponsored by Silk and our friends at Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Next milk, made from plants, tastes like milk.
Guys, if you're in the U.S., sorry for those not, and you haven't tried Next Milk, you gotta try it. It tastes just like milk. It's delicious. Eat it with Oreos, cereal, whatever you want to do. But you saw there the Snapchat filter, and that was like that glue where everyone was able to then participate into it, right? Everyone was then a part of it, the same campaign. We were able to drive that message, retarget people who saw our videos with the Snapchat filters, and I think that was really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. So you think about how do you plan for campaign diversification if it's so important to your brand? Is that something I know that you manage an internal agency, you manage outside agencies, and how are you doing making sure that they're integrating those into your campaign briefs and ultimately in the execution?
Yeah, we have an integrated marketing team that does a really good job in the planning cycle of taking that big idea and then working with all of our partners, whether it be shopper agencies, media agencies, et cetera, to help make sure we have a good plan. I think Wavemaker is our media agency, big part of that. We bring them ideas, raw ideas, work in progress, and they really help us even brainstorm on how to bring that idea to life. And so rely on them a lot. And then, our experts within Danone, we have a media team, a shopper team, et cetera. We just bring them together, really collaborate. Yep.
Yeah, I think the key is collaboration there. Do you want to talk about Wexham?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we? Oh, you got the video queued up. Yeah, this is
Right.
So Danone owns Stoke Cold Brew. It's the best cold brew on the market. It's delicious. It's not sweet. It's just like black. And we decided, even though we don't sell it in the UK, we decided to sponsor Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds' football club. So we're now the official sponsors. And so this is his debut video for us.
Here at the world-famous race course in Wrexham, tea time for the Red Dragons is as cherished a tradition as anywhere in the United Kingdom.
But today, we're announcing Stoke Cold Brew Coffee as our official sponsor of the race course.
So we're secretly replacing the team's afternoon tea with bold, smooth Stoke. Let's see if they notice.
Coffee, Tita, Shambles.
Ooh.
I think they noticed.
Yeah. Real stickers for tradition over here, huh?
They don't know what they're missing.
Stoke Cold Brew Coffee, official stadium sponsor of Wrexham EFC.
Yeah, they don't even drink cold brew there, so obviously a terrible business decision. But so far it's working well.
That's my next question for Linda. So you're jumping the gun here.
Yeah, terrible business decision, great marketing decision. So our objective on Stoke was how do we really make a big splash, a Super Bowl type moment on a brand where we don't have a huge Super Bowl budget. And so our in-house agency, Harvest, came up with this idea to work with maximum effort and sponsor a team in a country where we don't even sell cold brew. And the idea was loved so much by the team that Ryan Reynolds actually got involved. That was never part of the original pitch, but he thought this was so brilliant and so on brand that he was willing to lend himself to the idea. And we blew every metric and KPI out of the water. I think we had, 6 billion impressions in 24 hours, which was amazing. And there's a lot more to come behind that. It's a 3-year partnership, and so we're just going to make it bigger and better over the next few years.
I love these sports partnerships. AWS, we do quite a few sports partnerships as well. So obviously, it's part of the marketing mix at AWS. So when you think about these campaigns, you think about some of your marketing objectives from building brand awareness when you're launching new brands in new markets, or building awareness in other markets for products in North America. So how do you think about performance marketing versus brand marketing, and what's the mix that Danone likes to land on?
So at Danone, we subscribe to the Byron Sharp laws of growth, which is all about trying to reach as many people as possible as often as possible. It's continually recruiting and re-recruiting consumers. And so most of our objectives are about that broad reach and awareness. Hence with Stoke and this initiative, it was how do we make a big splash and reach as many people as possible as quickly as possible. That being said, as media consumption habits have shifted, those broad reach vehicles are making up a smaller portion of our marketing mix, and we are shifting more to CTV, retail media, and things that are slightly lower down the funnel.
Yeah, that actually flows nicely in my next question, which is, Amazon and AWS partner with Danone, use Amazon Fresh. How do you think about leveraging retail media networks in your marketing mix and your marketing campaigns?
Yeah, they're definitely becoming a more important part of our marketing mix. Again, it's about reaching the consumer where they are. And we saw during COVID a huge shift in shopping habits, right? Everybody was stuck at home, couldn't go to the grocery store, so online shopping became a much bigger deal. In fact, 41% of consumers who shopped online during COVID had never shopped online through Amazon Fresh, Instacart, etc. before. So we saw that trend happening, and we wanted to make sure we jumped on it. We started shifting our mix more towards e-com and retail media, and I think you'll see us continue to shift even more dollars in that direction once we get the right measurement in place and can prove out that it's the right place to be.
Yeah, I'm sure, Eric, you have keeps you up at night thinking about all these channels that you've got to support?
No, they're just little sandboxes, just playgrounds, and the retailers are actually getting more and more creative. Like when we work with partners at Walmart, other places, they get very they're excited about their social channels and what they're doing, and so it's been really cool to like get more integrated and see how they work as well.
Awesome. Well, let's see if we can queue up another video here. We're going to kind of shift gears here and have Vinny talk about campaign execution that Deloitte had done on behalf of one of their customers.
All right, so I don't know. I don't think we have the video, but there is a QR code, so everyone can take a look at that as we go through.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. All right. Very small.
Scan it, do it.
Scan it, do it.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
You're going to win a free iPod.
From AWS, right?
Sending you to Chat GPT.
Yeah. All right. So our initiative was around helping California AAA, if folks are familiar with the AAA, get into the insurance game. And AAA is a classic brand with trust in roadside assistance. And they're really an underdog in insurance. They're being outspent 50-1 by the big insurance companies, Progressive and Allstate. And so this is really an underdog story of how do we take those that are out there in market trying to enforce the fact that they sell insurance and have a competitor that's just trying to inform people that they're in the insurance game and they're known for other things. So we had to put them in a position so they could punch above their weight. And so we really needed a massive idea that would offer them a new platform and a new way of activating across campaigns and cultural moments. So we did some research and figured, how are we going to do this? How are we going to compete with these big insurance companies? And we learned that people don't really trust insurance companies, believe it or not, but people trusted AAA. It's a brand that maybe many of you have grown up with in the U.S. Before phones, go in and get some maps, maybe some theme park tickets and some roadside assistance.
Trip tickets.
Right? Sure. And so we needed to figure out how are we going to go do this. So we harnessed the power of the world's most shareable meme, and we created a campaign that was QR based and had one purpose only, which was to just rickroll everyone. So if folks had scanned this and the video went off, there would be Rick Astley with the new California AAA. We redid the entire Never Gonna Give You Up video step by step with California AAA. Really awesome way to introduce California AAA to the insurance game. We also need to change the game a little bit. So the big insurers are out there selling insurance, and so we needed a category of our own called insurance with 3 A's. And that was our angle to really separate ourselves from the big insurance companies. So Deloitte worked on this campaign, harnessed the power of the Q code, and we had some massive results that I'll talk about.
Yeah, that's actually the next
That
question. Is
sounds
like
very French, by the way.
Insurance, right?
Insurance.
Yeah,
the nasal.
for sure. I practiced saying it as well. I couldn't.
So, Vinny, when you're running a campaign for a customer like that, how do you think about the success metrics? Because obviously Deloitte's very data-driven, and you want your clients to, be able to measure the effectiveness of their campaigns.
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, in the very beginning, like I said, this was an organic campaign, and we were using the viral nature of the Rickroll. So, in the very first week of the campaign, we saw 100 million impressions across platforms. It was 100 million organic views across platforms, 2.2 billion impressions. We took $540,000 investment in this campaign and turned it into $36 million in earned media, and that was just in the very first week. So from a measurement perspective, it took on a life of its own.
That's really solid.
And then when we think about, well, now, how did we then continue to drive on that? Well, the results and what we were measuring in terms of engagement was 378% growth in new policies, 167% up in, 378% in new quotes, 167% uptick in new policies. So tremendously successful and keyed off the fact that people love QR codes and people love getting rickrolled and sharing rickroll with other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't. Obviously, you work at Deloitte Digital, which is kind of you have your own creative, you have your own analytics and metrics. You want to talk a little bit about how Deloitte Digital does analytics and metrics for advertising and marketing?
Absolutely, yeah. So, in my role with Deloitte, I work a lot with our creative teams that are putting together these awesome creative reels. Rickroll itself is nominated for a few Cannes Lions Awards. I think we got down selected or down listed for two of them. So, shortlisted. That's a great word. But from a measurement perspective, that's where my game is. I'm all about using the data to inform what we do next. So we take approach of maybe a new approach to marketing mix modeling. We call it granular marketing mix modeling. It takes a lot more data in. We're using updated machine learning models, and we're bringing measurement with more frequency. So during the course of the campaign, we were really able to align on where's our spend going once we converted from the organic side to now a more tactical paid performance. We have a follow-up ad as well called Boys No More with a bunch of boys bands as well for CSAA. So like, how do we capitalize on that and now go target with paid media? Our measurement approach took us to how do we distribute our spend across, and then we get more tactical by leveraging the power of data coming from different ecosystems like Amazon and the to not be named maybe other ecosystems that are out there. And then leveraging data clean rooms, which are really, really powerful tool for us to understand how to optimize our advertising. Yep.
That's awesome. I think that's pretty much a wrap of the Q&A that we have. I don't know if they're opening up to the audience Q&A at all.
Maybe we'll just hang out and sing. What's that song? Cool.
Yeah, do you want to dance that first?
Milk is
chillin'. I'm lactose intolerant, so I like it. It's great.
Yeah, try it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Question in the front.
Hi, Jeff Medic from AWS. I'm really curious, when you get a result like that's truly an outlier kind of result, like with Wrexham, like how do you start to calculate your creative investments versus like paid media investments and start to reallocate? Because it's fairly subjective, right? But you got such an outsized result. You don't get that every time. I'm curious, have you shifted your creative budget mix as a result of those types of outcomes?
It's a great question, right? I mean, Wrexham truly was lightning in a bottle, but we had that sense early on. I think with this one, we knew we needed to punch above our weight because we don't have the budget on Stoke to drive a more traditional media campaign and achieve the reach objectives that we needed. So we had to do something that was going to generate significant earned potential. And we felt early on that this was going to do that. I mean, you were involved from the beginning. Any thoughts on how we bottled that up and made it work?
I think it's, Ryan is obviously lightning, right? And so, I think you'd have to be bold and be brave, which I think we are, to be putting a lot of your eggs into the will this get PR, will this get earned bucket, right? I think usually we're a little bit more, I would say, diversified in terms of how we go to market with more typical campaigns, even with things like Deion Sanders we did with the Super Bowl, right? We go in there not like the earned is really icing on the cake. I think with this one, we knew how good it was going to be. We knew the idea was really, really fun. We knew where it was in the cultural zeitgeist of Wrexham and the show and all of that. Like, we'll be in the show. And so that was enough to give us the confidence to put the chips on the earned in the media. So I think it's just also like working with them and maximum effort as well to be like, build that good relationship and them doing it time and time again. And they know, I think, for when something's going to strike, and they had the confidence too. So I think it's just bravery and confidence, Yep. Thank you.
No, I would say in my experience, I've seen long-time Coca-Cola marketer. We see an idea that's working, and we will amplify it. So if we see that, we'll try 3 or 4 different ideas, one that really starts to get some traction, and then we'll amplify that.
Yeah. I will say Stoke is one of the brands in our portfolio. We have over 25 brands. with one of the smallest budgets. And to your point, once we saw that this was getting some traction, we did pitch and receive incremental funding to amplify it. They're coming to the U.S. this summer on tour, and so we're now going to be able to activate through the rest of the year as a result.
Create a whole series of content around that campaign.
But even the trying, like we do that a lot on TikTok. We'll put stuff out there. We'll try. If it doesn't work, it's no harm. When I was at Anheuser-Busch, we used to just had the craziest tweets, and if they didn't work, we'd pull them and try something else. And so I think usually on social is a good place to kind of take
Good
those
place
risks
to experiment.
and then amplify. Right? Yep.
We take a big test and learn approach, right? Again, with a wide portfolio of brands, it is about diversification and also leaning into each brand's specific objective and figuring out what works. And so if you start in a small scale, you can test and learn with new partners, new platforms, and then once you have something that is lightning in a bottle, you amplify it and, market the shit out of it.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.